Matt Leon joins us. Sir, always a pleasure.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. It's great to have you with us.
Good to be with you.
Before I get to Joel Embiid, the Eagles draft, when they took Dean in the third round from Georgia, I'm looking around thinking, I don't know if he could have accomplished any more goals, Howie Roseman, in this draft. Between Brown, Dean, I mean, I'm okay on Davis. I mean, he's a run stopper. That's fine in a league that throws the ball. But, but other than that, I mean, it looked to me like he made almost all the right moves.
Oh, I think it was a tremendous draft on paper. I think Davis is a freak athlete for his size who, specifically with what Jonathan Gannon wants to do, could really, really be critical to the defense taking a quantum leap this year. Dean, I guess there was injury concerns, it seems like, or at least some people had them.
Yeah.
I also think it was one of those things where everybody kind of looked at each other like, well, if they didn't take them, there must be something wrong, so we're not going to take them. And it just kind of, we see this with the draft, like every year. There's a handful of guys that, this happens to, and he seemed to be the one, and the Eagles don't seem concerned. He said he'll be ready to go for minicamp. So if they're getting the Nakobe Dean that played linebacker at Georgia, and they got him 83rd overall, that's one of the all-time great heists. And even their second-round pick, Cam Jurgens, a center who Jason Kelsey himself said was the best center prospect and would obviously be the heir apparent, which kind of leads you to believe that this will indeed be Jason Kelsey's last year. You got to, as you did, you've got to include A.J. Brown in this draft class.
No doubt.
And you got a stud, polished, 1,000-yard NFL receiver about to enter the prime of his career. And now you're putting him opposite Devontae Smith, and that's scary. That's really scary, and not for nothing, but he's also close with Jalen Hurts. So not only have you added the talent, but you've given your quarterback, who there's been endless debate whether the Eagles are sold on him. The fact that, he's got a relationship with Brown leads you to believe that they're doing everything they can to give Hurts every chance to succeed. And even their last pick in the 6th round, the tight end, Grant Calcaterra from SMU, played at Oklahoma prior to SMU and played with Hurts. And they've got a relationship. So there's a lot to like. I think specifically looking at the draft, if there's one thing they didn't accomplish, it was in the secondary. That's probably the only that is, in my opinion, the only place where they really haven't made a splash. But they also signed a couple of undrafted free agents. A kid from Alabama, a kid from Clemson that I think were, that very easily could have been 4th, 5th, 6th round picks and just weren't. And giving them guaranteed money. So who knows? You and I could have this conversation in a year and a half and go, God, what a bust! Can you believe that? The Davis kid only played 2 games before he got hurt, and they cut this guy. But on paper, really looks like a really not just a good draft from a talent standpoint, but a good draft that fills holes immediately.
Yeah, because I think Dean, to me, he's healthy. He's a steal. Brown is a legit number 1. I mean, couldn't ask for more than that. They got a legit number 1 out of the draft. Davis is interesting in that I think he's very talented, but he's not a pass rusher. He came out of the game on 3rd downs at Georgia, and he only averaged 25.2 plays a game. I worry about his stamina in the 4th quarter.
No, and it's legit, and we'll see. And a lot of people, and this could be looking at the glass half full, but that Georgia defense was so good that they didn't need to extend anyone past what they were best at.
Exactly.
So,
and I've said that 1,000 times on this show, Matt. I said, the difference between the really good teams and those who are in the middle, the really good teams aren't in close games. So that's a big plus. No, and,
that Georgia defense was special. It wasn't just good. It wasn't just college football good. It wasn't just SEC good. It was special. And the Eagles got 2 starters off that defense. And they both fill desperate needs for the team right now. So, I mean, we'll see how it plays out, but you cannot fault the decision-making and the effort.
No.
The Eagles filled holes and filled them with quality players.
Agreed. Joel Embiid, first 2 games probably not going to play, right?
That's the way. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's even going to travel or has not traveled down to Miami.
Boy, I'll tell you, what a tough break because, again, against Toronto, I thought he played terrific because he had the thumb injury, right? It's a thumb injury, I think.
It's a torn ligament in thumb.
So he needs surgery. Now he's got the orbital bone. Is there a lot of debate down there as to whether he should have been at the game at the time, or does it matter?
There is, but I don't know that it matters because I think if you and I were to just take a random sampling of 20 NBA games that were 30 points, you would have the starters in there at that point in 85% of them. Is that right? I agree with you, and I think that's the way most coaches look at it. I agree with you. And you've also got a coach in Doc Rivers who, and rightfully, in my opinion, so is getting grilled over his teams not being able to close people out.
Right.
So you got a coach who's obviously not going to take anything for granted in that situation. It's just unfortunate. It's just a lot of things kind of come together, and if he can play, he will play. He'll be out there with the Phantom of the Opera mask like he was a few years ago.
Yeah, that's right.
And now I think it'll be interesting. Everybody's picking Miami, and I get it. I don't think it's crazy they can steal one in Miami. And, a lonely city turns its eyes to James Harden. And he's been better than I think he's been given credit for. Yes, maybe he's not the James Harden that was dropping 50 a game for a while there in Houston a few years ago, but he's been an incredible facilitator, and I think he has taken a backseat offensively because he knows it's Joe's show.
Yep, I agree.
So it'll be interesting here, because I would imagine, if I'm Doc Rivers, you go up to him and say, James, you're our guy tonight. Go to work. And take your chances. And Miami's not going to have Kyle Lowry. In my opinion, of the 3 teams that were left, Miami, Milwaukee, Boston, Miami was the one I thought the Sixers matched up the best with. Now that was with Embiid, obviously. But, and this also kind of screams when everything's pointing in one direction, it seems to go the other. So we'll see. Yeah,
but you know what? If I'm Doc, I walk up to him and rack up one Rockets tape from 3 years ago. He said, "Remember when you did this? Mm-hmm. Sort of need this right now."
Yeah,
probably would help us a little bit.
No, and I would think he'll try. He's an incredibly smart basketball player. He's not just talented,
he's
but
smart.
He really gets how the sausage is made. So, we'll see. And it's funny. All of a sudden now there's no pressure on the Sixers. That's true. Dynamic of, you're going into Miami. I think I saw that all 19 ESPN experts picked the Heat, and a lot of them picked the Heat relatively easily, in 5. Mm-hmm. So Sixers going to be able to go down there free and easy, and if they can steal one, and then all of a sudden Embiid comes back in 3, then all of a sudden, the winds have significantly changed. But Miami's really good, and they're here for a reason, and but we'll see. It should be interesting.
All the pressure was on the Celtics yesterday. They didn't respond well, so we'll see. Yep. All right, my friend. It is always a pleasure. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you for the time.